Oh, I there's an out of body experience that occurred in this building where I lived, and it happened accidentally. I don't want to tell the whole story now, but we're going to have this woman, Renee, who had this experience. We found a portal.
Wow.
Here I am telling the whole story. We found an actual portal where
Wow.
if you sat on this place, your everything started spinning and you went out of body. And you
Really?
stayed out of body for like an hour and a half. And it happened to 3 different people. The first time it happened, we thought the person was fucking dead or OD'd or something. We didn't know what to do.
Yeah, that's scary.
I don't want to tell the whole story. But anyway, to make a long story short, Renee, who was the first person that it happened to, she's going to come on the show and we're going to reminisce about it because it happened to me too in the exact same place and one other friend of ours. It was shocking. Yeah, wait till you hear the story. And it's just a couple of blocks from here, and we know exactly where it is, and we want to go over there and see if they will let us look for that spot, because I know pretty close to exactly where it was. And when you sat exactly there, it just happened anyway.
That's really incredible. So it's a building you lived in, and there's a particular spot where if you sit, then you have a literal out-of-body experience. That's pretpretty profound and
We
interesting,
had a little
right?
table, and we would sit around the table, and there was one chair, and my friend sat in this one chair, and all of a sudden, Renee sat in this one chair. All of a sudden, her whole body just went stiff as a board, and her eyes rolled back. We thought, oh, fuck, Renee OD'd, and we were like, slapping her, wake up. Anyway, yeah. And she said the whole time we were dragging her, we drug her up and down the alley and everything, trying to revive her,
Yeah.
And then we would call the paramedic. Then we called the paramedics, and then she woke up, and she said the whole time we were dragging her up and down the alley, she was up out of her body watching us. And the whole time we thought, wow, what a weird story, We didn't know what to think. We didn't know if she'd OD'd on drugs. We didn't know what the fuck was up. Yeah. I'm telling the whole story before Renee gets here. Sorry, Renee. Anyway.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm really intrigued by that story, and I think a lot of people would be interested to hear more. So we look
Yeah,
forward.
it's sort of like that alien shit, right? It's sort of like
Absolutely.
like you hear about portals, they're supposed to exist, but this is an actual portal right here in Venice, and we just found it by fucking accident.
Wow.
And there it was in the space I was living in.
Yeah, man, I gotta go
Yeah.
check this portal out sometime.
Yeah.
Wow, well, that's exciting.
Yeah, here I would just talk all day about that whole story. It was such an experience. I had the same experience, and my friend did as well. So 3 of us had that same experience in exactly the same spot, and it happened exactly the same.
So you sat down in the chair, and then you all of a sudden became rigid.
The whole
and-
room just went shk, and then it
Wow.
went shk, shk, and then it went shk, 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 and then I was on the ceiling looking down, and that's how everybody else described it too. It was like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's really fascinating.
Yeah. So I would like to go back and revisit that spot if we could find it.
Yeah.
There's a new building there, but the portal will still be there because there was an old building there before, but it had a concrete floor. So the new building will be the same thing. We just have to take a tape measure and try to calculate where that exact spot was, and then start moving around until we find it.
Wow, it's fascinating.
I wonder if somebody's been in that space and it happened to somebody and they didn't know what happened. Because, if you didn't know what happened, you would think you had had a seizure or a stroke,
Right.
or the paramedics thought she'd either OD'd or she'd had some kind of stroke or something. None of us knew what the fuck was up. And it turned out it was like a portal of some sort because it happened to 3 different people. We didn't realize that until it happened to the second person.
Wow.
We just thought, oh, well, that's what happened to Renee. Maybe she was high. Who knows?
Right.
But when it happened to the second person, they were going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then I sat down in that chair by accident one day. I was talking on the phone, standing by a counter, and I sat down on the chair for a second, and I was just on the chair for like a couple of seconds, and the whole room went, ruh.
Wow.
We went, ruh, ruh, and I went, oh, fuck, and I leaped up the stairs, landed on my bed, and I just laid there, and I looked at the clock, and when I woke up, it was an hour and a half later, and the whole time I was up on the ceiling looking at myself laying on my bed on my back, and I was up there, and it was the same exact thing my other 2 friends had described, so I knew exactly what was happening when it started happening.
Yeah. Wow.
And then we moved out of that building. I never really thought about it anymore. We opened Killer Shrimp, and right after that, we opened Killer Shrimp. That was the building we were living in when we came up with the whole Killer Shrimp thing and did the earliest version of Killer Shrimp. So
yeah.
that building's still there, just a couple of blocks from here. Well, you and I rode over there. I showed you the building.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, we checked that out. Yep, just an average-looking building, but
Yeah.
some incredible stories within.
But there's probably spots like that all over the fucking planet, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But only the Indians knew them,
right, right.
and now we know them.
Yeah, if you were able to see yourself over your body, then that means that your consciousness was outside of your physical brain, which
don't know
I
what it
think
means,
is
yeah.
really intriguing. You know.
It was sure weird. I wasn't afraid at all because I knew what was happening. I want to ask Renee that if she was afraid.
Yeah, that's a
I
good
never
question.
did ask her if she was afraid when it started because,
Yeah,
I would have been afraid if I didn't know what was happening.
right,
I
right,
would have thought I was having a stroke or something.
right.
You
And it seems from what I gather, it was more of like an objective view and without any emotion or mysticism. You were just viewing yourself
I wasn't.
outside of
It wasn't an opinionated view.
Yeah, yeah.
Now Renee said when we took her outside, she was outside with us.
Wow.
So she was unconscious. We picked her up. She weighs like 90 pounds.
Right.
And we drug her outside by each arm, and we drug her up and down the alley so many times that the toes of her shoes ground off.
Wow. Holy shit.
Because her feet were dragging behind her. She was unconscious, and we're going, "Wake up, Renee! Wake up, Renee!"
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
we were going, "Fuck Shioti in our fucking house. What are we gonna do?" Like it was that kind of a thing. We're
Yeah,
like,
that's horrifying.
Yeah. And it turned out it was an out-of-body experience.
Wow. And remind me, how long did the experience last?
An hour and a half.
Wow. Okay, that's a
Each
significant.
person was out nearly
time.
an hour and a half. Renee was out a little less time than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like watching a movie, roughly. Like
The
90
second
minutes.
person that it happened to, I saw it happen to him. Happening to him. So I went over and grabbed him because he was stiffening out and laid him down on the floor and put a pillow under his head.
Wow.
And he
Okay,
just laid
yeah.
there the whole time until he woke up. We just sat there around him like this, looking at him the whole time, thinking, "Come on, wake up, wake up." We're just sitting there watching him, thinking, "Well, Renee woke up, so he's gonna wake up, I think."
That's pretty spectacular.
Yeah. It was pretty fucking out there, man.
And he said the same thing, right? Like he was above himself,
Yes,
looking down. He could
yes,
see
exactly.
the room. That's incredible.
Yeah. So there we go. We could go. What if we find that spot, man? That could be a place.
Yeah, we got to bring the camera there,
Yeah.
film that. That could be.
What are you looking for? Well, we just want to reminisce.